The wind had a voice that day. It screamed through every valley, rattled zinc rooftops, and ripped away everything that wasn't bolted down. For hours, Jamaica was swallowed by darkness. 77% of the island was without power. But even in that darkness, something shone brighter than any lightning flash. The resilience of a people who refused to break. Hurricane Melissa, a Category 5 monster, had arrived. Winds at 185 miles per hour, a storm that tried and failed to break Jamaica, despite widespread destruction in the western parts of the island. The system that saved us. When the skies cleared, many wondered how Jamaica, a small island in the Caribbean, managed to stand firm against one of the strongest hurricanes in modern history. The answer lies not in luck, but in leadership, planning, and decades of experience. Jamaica has quietly built one of the most advanced disaster management systems in the region. The Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM, isn't just another government agency. It's the heartbeat of a nation's defense against chaos. ODPEM coordinates every arm of response, from the National Works Agency clearing roads, to the Jamaica Defense Force rescuing trapped citizens, to the Ministry of Health guarding against disease outbreaks. And above them all, the Prime Minister chairs the National Disaster Committee, giving every instruction the power of the highest office in the land. It's a system built on unity. One command, many hands. Before the eye arrived. Days before Melissa's landfall, Jamaica wasn't waiting. It was working. The National Works Agency launched massive flood mitigation drives. At Sandy Gully in Kingston, more than 500 truckloads of debris were cleared to protect the Spanish Town Road Bridge, a lifeline for hospitals and commerce. As rain clouds gathered, government teams weren't the only ones preparing. Churches opened their halls. Volunteers packed food. Over 800 shelters were activated across the island. At the National Emergency Operations Center, Minister Robert Morgan issued urgent warnings, not with panic, but precision. If you live near a gully, move to safety now, he said. No car, no SUV can outrun a flood. His message saved lives. And from the Office of the Prime Minister came assurance. Jamaica had funds ready. Insurance through the Caribbean Catastrophe Risk Insurance Facility, the National Disaster Fund, and emergency credit lines stood by. This time, the island would not wait for the world. The hit. When the hurricane's eye finally crossed land in the parish of St. Elizabeth, it was the kind of violence you hear before you see. Roofs vanished, trees snapped, waves towered along the south coast. Rain poured so heavily that in parts of the island, a single night delivered more water than Kingston sees in a year. Yet through it all, Jamaicans endured. Families huddled in classrooms that had become shelters. Soldiers braved the destruction to rescue the trapped. And by dawn, as the storm limped northward, the miracle became clear. The 72-hour sprint. The morning after Melissa, Jamaica moved fast. Within hours, cabinet ministers, including the Prime Minister, were on the ground in the hardest-hit parishes. ODPEM activated the National Emergency Organization. The NWA deployed engineers to inspect bridges and highways and started the road-clearing exercise across the island. The JDF cleared fallen trees and poles so ambulances could move. The National Solid Waste Management Authority joined in, hauling debris and restoring access. It was a national orchestra of recovery. Every agency knew its part. The Ministry of Health launched mosquito control operations to prevent dengue and waterborne disease. The Ministry of Agriculture worked to support farmers and fishers whose livelihoods were washed away overnight. This wasn't chaos, it was coordination. A play rehearsed 100 times, finally performed under pressure. And just as the nation caught its breath, another force began to move. Not from Kingston, but from across the seas. The world responds. Before Melissa even made landfall, Jamaica had already triggered an international network of support. Through ODPEM and the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency, the island connected instantly with the United Nations, regional governments, and humanitarian groups. From Barbados, ships of the World Food Programme launched with food, solar equipment, and communications gear. 2,000 food kits, enough to feed 6,000 people for 10 days, were sent by sea. Many Jamaicans received digital cash transfers before the storm hit, allowing them to buy food, water, and materials to secure their homes. The International Organization for Migration sent solar lamps, hygiene kits, and shelter materials. Microsoft provided satellite imagery to map the damage. The Red Cross mobilized hundreds of local volunteers, while the UK's Royal Navy ship, HMS Trent, stood ready offshore with emergency supplies. This was not charity, it was a partnership. Jamaica led the response. The world followed Jamaica's plan. Lessons in leadership. Hurricane Melissa proved that resilience is not built in a day, it's built over decades. ODPEM's coordination with the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency created what experts call a dual-node system, linking local command with regional capacity. The result? Speed, precision, and accountability. Financially, Jamaica demonstrated something rare in disaster response: independence. Thanks to a hybrid system of funds, credit lines, and insurance payouts, the government had cash in hand to act immediately. While others waited for pledges, Jamaica was already rebuilding. And at the household level, that same principle of readiness showed itself in community resilience. Families storing water, volunteers forming neighborhood watch teams, and faith-based groups ensuring no one was left behind. Challenges and the road ahead. Still, Melissa was a warning. The hurricane exposed two stubborn weaknesses: risky public behavior and fragile infrastructure. Despite clear warnings, some people still tried to cross flooded gullies, risking their lives. And the power grid, so vital to modern life, remains vulnerable to Category 5 winds. Experts say the next step is to harden Jamaica's critical infrastructure, strengthen power lines, upgrade bridges, and build smarter drainage systems. Equally important is changing public behavior through education and trust, because even the best plan fails if people ignore it. But Jamaica's story, after Melissa, isn't about what broke, it's about what held. Bonus facts. Fact 1. Jamaica's disaster law was one of the first in the Caribbean. Passed back in 1993 and upgraded in 2015. Fact 2. The Caribbean Logistics Hub in Barbados cut regional response time by over 80%. Fact 3. Jamaica's disaster insurance through the Caribbean Catastrophe Risk Insurance Facility pays out automatically within 14 days of a major event. Fact 4. More than 800 shelters across the island are now mapped and monitored using satellite technology. When Hurricane Melissa struck, the world saw destruction, but Jamaicans saw duty. We picked up our shovels, our brooms, and our faith. We remembered that every storm passes, and every time Jamaica rises again. Because storms can test our strength, but they cannot take it away. If this story moved you, share it, subscribe, and let the world see that impacting Jamaica means celebrating a people who stand tall, even when the winds try to tear us down.